Okay, it's 7 o'clock and we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. I just want to ask everyone if you can turn your phones on mute so we don't have any interruptions. And then if we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance. Okay, Paul, are there any remaining proxies to be turned in?
Um, no remaining proxies to be turned in.
Okay. Paul, do we have a quorum for the meeting to proceed?
Yes, we received 968 proxies, so we have a quorum to proceed.
Right. Next item up is reading or waiver of the 2025 minutes. I'm going to ask for a motion to waive the reading of the 2025 minutes.
So motioned.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is introduction of my esteemed colleagues and of fellow board members. And I'm going to go down the aisle here, but I'm going to ask Brian to go first. Brian?
So we're going to go ahead and make our general comments this time, Joe? or-
Yes.
Okay. So I'm Brian McKinnon. I'm the treasurer. Tonight, I just want to take a moment and give special thanks to my colleague to the right, Nathaniel Monk. Tonight is Nathaniel's last day on the board after serving for 6 years, 6 long years. Nathaniel was treasurer before me for a number of years, and I can attest that it's a very demanding, time-consuming job. So we thank you for that effort. I especially want to thank Nathaniel for those of you who have attended meetings in the past for his homespun wisdom, Oklahoma-based, and very helpful and really a lot of times steer the direction, calm down the temperature of the room. So we really appreciate that. Most importantly, personally, I know having joined the board 2 years ago, I just want to thank you for how welcoming you were to accept me to the board and to mentor me, and I really appreciate all of that. So thank you again.
Very kind of you. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that.
That's
All right,
all.
Brian. Okay. And up next, Nathaniel, my good friend.
It is my last day on the board, 6 years. I was just mentioning to a fellow board member that you might not remember what you were thinking 6 years ago when the day I got on the board, but I didn't know what you were thinking. You were thinking, what is this COVID story they're talking about? And the next thing you know, whack, it hit us. So I got on the board at just a really weird time. I got on right, in fact, a month before I got on the board, we had the Meet the Candidates night. And it was a controversial election. So this room was full, chairs all the way to the back, place was full. So it was really full. And COVID was here and nobody believed it, understood it. It was just TV stuff, you know? And we shouldn't have had the meeting, but we didn't understand what was going on. And then a few weeks later, we had the election and I was on the board. And then the very first thing that the very first project I was involved with was already started before I got here, and that was the idea of having the restaurant. And so the very first thing I had to do was to vote on sending this to the community, then convince the community this looked like a good idea, um, modify the package. We sent it out. The community voted to build the restaurant. We found a way to do it without any assessments. And so we started building the restaurant. We had bids and everything already. And before we even sent it to the community, and instantly COVID locked up the supply system. And so we like to not got the thing built. People couldn't get supplies. We managed to get it built, and all our contractors that were going to run it, that were competing for the job, they all said, no way, we can't hire employees now, COVID's going on, and suddenly we were in trouble. And so that's how long I've been on the board, 6 years. I've really enjoyed being on the board some of the time, and after the first 4 years, Uh, but, and I do admit that the first couple years was, no fun. Sure, it's similar to when I was in boot camp, but boot camp was only 8 weeks. And this went on and on, same amount of shouting. And, eventually, everything evened out. And, somebody asked me early on, why is it you even want to be on the board? Why are you getting on the board? And I admit that I said, and then later I thought, man, I just pulled that out of my hat, but it was true. I want to be on the board to try to stop stupid stuff from happening. That's why I'm going to be there. I'm going to stop stupid stuff from happening. And I can tell you, as I get off the board, this board you have in front of you right now is the best board I have ever seen in my stay in Pelican Marsh or even heard about in Pelican Marsh. These guys are amazing. There is no longer a need for me up here because in fact, not only will nothing stupid happen with these guys, but I really believe you could helicopter this group into a big company anywhere in the world, especially in America, English speaking world, and and they could take over the company and make it grow. Just any kind of company, ball bearings to AI. And these are an amazing group here, and I'm really, really happy with what we've got. Brian mentioned that he is the treasurer, and it is true. He came on board, and on his first day he thought he'd like to be the treasurer. I'm like, oh, you need to get to know what's going on here and everything. And he instantly hit the ground running and came to every meeting until he knew exactly what everything needed to be done. And the same thing is true with Joe. When Joe got on the board, I think the very first day we elected him as president. Is that true?
Vice President?
No, president. You was president, weren't you?
Vice
Vice
President.
president. Okay. Okay. Well, we skipped a year. That's right. 1 year he was vice president and president. But these two gentlemen, even more than anybody else, spends more hours working for the community. The rest of us have an easier task, but they have to work a lot. Every person on this board cares a lot, donates their time, and works for you. But I do admit that, as Brian indicated, and is very true for the president too, there's a lot of hours, a lot of meetings, a lot of sub meetings, a lot of stuff you got to go to. And I've been either the treasurer or the vice president all 6 years I was on the board. And so, real often I would say, boy, I'm glad I don't have to go to any more meetings, because sometimes it'd be a meeting on Monday, then Tuesday and Thursday. And like, wow, this can't be that important. But these guys really do a great job. I want to compliment all 7 people, Frank, Keith, Uwe, George, those 4 that I didn't mention earlier, all 4 very serious men and care a lot. And you can fully trust that not one crazy thing is going to come from any of these 7 people. And I hope that the election tonight puts you in the same hands that I'm leaving you with, because I'm leaving you with a great board. I've really enjoyed working with my community and for my community, and I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. George Costas?
Thanks, Joe. I don't have as much to say. I haven't been here as long as Nathaniel, but I would like to say thanks to Nathaniel, and I'd like to say thanks to Joe, Brian, Uwe, Keith, and Frank, because I've been on a few boards, and this has been a great experience. Not like a group think kind of experience where we just tell each other what we want to hear, but we've been able to really be productive, and especially Joe, as the president, has really pushed a lot of things forward, and I'm proud to be part of it, and hope to continue to be part of it. A lot of good things to happen in the future.
All right, thank you, George. Ray?
Yeah, the first thing I'd like to acknowledge is how great Pelican Marsh is. I've been here for 6 years. I love this community. We have a fabulous location. We have low fees. It's a great value community. And I think because of that, we have been able to do stuff that's been exciting. And this board over the last few years has worked on a few projects, which I've really enjoyed working on. And we got some really important projects done: the expansion of pickleball courts, beautification of the facility. And as you know, we're currently working on expanding the club facilities, both for multipurpose uses like cards and other stuff, and especially for gym activities. So I want to acknowledge how great Pelican Marsh is. It's a community I've fallen in love with, and I think it's a great place to live. I also want to thank the residents. We have a lot of people that volunteer for stuff. You have the board members, of course, my fellow board members who put in a ton of time, especially the executive. So the subgroup of the board that serves as the executive, they meet almost every week. They put in a lot of hours, a lot of time. And I have not been on that, and I appreciate that I haven't been. It saved me a lot of time because I know how hard you guys work. But I also want to thank the many volunteers we have. We have people that serve on committees. We have people that organize gameplay, that, whether it's the people that run bocce or cards or Bible studies or tennis or pickleball. These people are all contributing their time to make this community a better place. And I really appreciate what they do for us. Lastly, I want to sort of look forward a little bit. And I believe this community has a lot of opportunity. So we're doing some projects now like that expansion. I hope that's not the last thing we do. Because we have low fees and great value, the more we do to improve this community, the more we will improve property values, the more we will attract people to come to this community and see what I see, which is that this is an awesome place to live. So I want to look forward to working with the next board. I'll be here for another year till the next election. And I look forward to working with the next board on whatever next thing that we can come up with that'll make this community even greater than it is today.
Thank you, Ube. Keith Congleton?
Hi, good evening, Keith Congleton. Thank you all for coming out, taking time to see what's going on in your community and see the leadership and support the leadership that's providing the direction that we have for the rest of the community as well. I would echo a lot of things that have been said already. This has been a great team to work with. I've worked a lot of teams in my career. This board gets along well. Everybody respects one another. Everybody respects one another's opinions. And I think as a result of that, we've been very functional as a team. And I appreciate Joe's leadership. I think Joe's been good in that role of president. And I appreciate Brian's leadership in the finance world, helping keep the team between the guidelines or the road. And all in all, it's been a great first year for me. I've really learned a lot, met a lot of new folks. I've been working with the CDD on a lot of the roads projects and the gates projects. I think we're making some improvements there. You'll be seeing the 41 Gatehouse coming down here in a couple of weeks, starting that activity for the summer while most of you are up north. And then also more recently, as Uwe led on to, is we're working on this building project, expansion project. So you'll see a little bit of that tonight as well. I think we've got a lot of good ideas on how to continue to invest smartly, prudently in the community and the facilities and the amenities that we have here to continue to add value to Pelican Marsh. It is a desirable location to be. We need to make sure it's in a desirable amenity-filled community for people to come and live and join us here. So that's our objective over the next year, and I look forward to working with this team and making that come to reality. Thanks.
Thanks, Keith. Frank Canistra? Frank?
Hello, at the risk of sounding redundant, that's what happens when you choose the last seat, the last. I do want to echo my fellow board members and say, just like Keith, myself and Keith are the new guys on the board, and it's really been amazing working with these guys. Nathaniel, you're going to be missed. Didn't know 3 of these guys really until I got picked on this board, and I didn't know a couple others that well. And what they and we have accomplished, I believe, is really, really amazing. I play tennis, but I also play pickleball, and I see a lot of different campuses out there. And I'm a little biased, I think, but really ours ranks up there. The pulchritude of Pelican Marsh is just amazing. And I do want to thank all of you guys for attending tonight. I want to thank all of you guys for voting. I want to thank all of you for continuing to make Pelican Marsh what it is today.
Thank you, Frank. All right, thank you very much, all my board members. Next on the agenda is introduction of the committees. We have several people that are going to come up and speak, and I'll start with Dino. Dino's the chair of the Bocce Committee. Dino Rusella?
I'm Dino. I'm on the Bocce Committee, and I want to special thanks to this dedicated committee that I work with. Denise, Tina, Christopher, Lynn. They do so much work and try to make things happen. I really want to thank the staff here at Pelican Marsh and Paul and our Bocce liaison, Frank. You guys helped make things really happen for us. Bocce remains still one of the great amenities that we have here in Pelican Marsh. We bring people together for fun, friendly competition, and just being able to have a sense of community. We kicked off this season in October with something we called the Great Pelican Marsh Duck Race. It was in cooperation with trying to support the breast awareness campaign that the foundation was trying to do for that month. And I'm proud to say that we were able to raise $5,000 for that through the Bocce event that we had. And I want to thank all those that participated and all those that contributed. Thank you very much. Both our fall and winter leagues were a great success. Matter of fact, we are having our playoffs this Monday for the winter league. The women's travel team, we have inaugural year for the women's Southwest Florida travel team. This was their first year back in it, and they did really well. And our men's travel team made the playoffs, and continued success of those travel teams. Our spring league will begin on April 13th. We do a morning beginner bocce on Thursdays, where we encourage people to come up that want to either sharpen their skills or just learn how to play bocce. And it's a nice avenue and pathway for them to be able to then join in the league and so forth as they go through and they learn more. This season, we enjoyed several lively events that featured, bocce, food, fun, despite the Arctic blasts that we had coming through here. And I say Arctic because after living here 25 years, anything under 70 is frigid. We culminated with our bocce bash that we just had last week. It was a great event. We had dinner, live band, glow bocce. It was really a standout success and probably the highlight of the season. I want to encourage people, if you haven't tried bocce and you want to, book a court. You can go up there anytime, ask questions. We'd like to see you out there and enjoy it. And it continues to be a great amenity here. And I thank the board for all of your support. Thank you.
Next is our board liaison for Court Sports Committee, George Custis.
Yeah, I'd like to read a few of the highlights this year. The Chris Diorio, the chair, and his committee gave me. Basically, the first thing is Court Sports has been doing really well. Total Court Sports unique players this year is 1,137 people. That's a lot of people. Unique individuals are playing in the court sports. Tennis accounts for 564, pickleball 875, and out of those, 302 played both tennis and pickleball. So a lot of activity this year. They'd like to thank the staff, Allie, Victor, obviously Victor not here, but Mary, Megan, Christy, Frank, and Johan. And we hired Ransom Broughton as a head court sports professional who's really taken off. The facility, we added a canopy on the south side of the pickleball courts with fans, added fans to the tennis canopy by Court 4, and added a viewing area with a shade on the west side of Court 7, which is going to really come in handy as we do the pro nights and other afternoon activities. Events. The year-end court sports party and awards, 4th of July mixer, tennis and pickleball, breakfast at Wimbledon tennis mixer, summer social happy hour at courtside, pink out fun run fundraiser, welcome back Oktoberfest social at courtside to bring the community together, the Tarantino Pickleball Open to benefit Helps Outreach, Grace Place exhibition and fundraiser, Naples Tennis Pro League, Avow Hospice Pickleball Exhibition fundraiser, Dink and Glow Pickleball event, Southwest Florida Pickleball Pro League, Spring Classic, which we're still in the midst of finishing up this weekend, right? Men's, women's, and mixed. The mixed is this weekend. And the men's had 24 players, women's 18 players, mixed 28 players. I mean, this is a great improvement to the amount of participation we've had from recent years, and it's all good news.
All right, thanks, George. And next, a former board member and chair of the CDD County Projects Oversight Committee, Jim Carter. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Joe. Congratulations, Nathaniel. Hope you enjoy your retirement. But you'll be hanging around the bar, I know him. Okay, in January, the Cuyahoga County Department of Transportation did a town hall with us explaining about the three major road networks that surround Pelican Marsh, and the construction is going to be taking place on these for over the next 5 years. Vanderbilt will be expanded from US 41 to airport. It'll go from 4 lanes to 6 lanes, and construction now is supposed to start by the end of April. And originally it was supposed to start in November of 2025, and now that says they're already 4 months behind schedule. Airport pulling is going to go from 4 to 6 lanes. That is from Vanderbilt north to Immokalee. They say it's still on schedule to start in July of 26 and end in September of 28. But based on what's taken places on Vanderbilt, I wouldn't hold your breath about them keeping that schedule. I truly believe that probably will be delayed. Goodlet Frank is going to go from 2 lanes to 4 lanes. It's anticipated construction will start in January of 2029 and be completed in January of 2031. Now, the design contract has been let. They have been informed about our concerns about noise abatement here for Pelican Marsh, and they've taken that under consideration. So I hope when you get back, we'll have more to report to you on exactly where Vanderbilt was. Hope that that really accelerates, and what will be taking place on airport and Goodlet Frank. Also want to thank the committee. We have an excellent committee, and we will meet later this year and be ready for you when you come back with an update. Hopefully we're going to be on schedule. Thanks a lot, Joe.
All right, thank you, Jim. And then the last committee we're going to hear from is the Long Range Planning Committee and the chair, Peter Olin. Welcome, Peter.
Good evening, everyone. Board, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Long Range Planning Committee. Paul, thank you very much. As many of you know, in the spring of 2025, the committee was actually reformed. It was there was a previous committee from 2019 to 2020, and we were reformed again. The current members are myself as chair. We have Leslie Corrigan, who's our records manager, Glenda Corwin, Jake Elig, Tracy Kaber, and Joe, who's been our board liaison. So for those of you, just a quick highlight of the purpose and objective, especially underscoring Uwe, sort of what you mentioned in terms of what we tried to do to bring value. That's exactly what we were trying to do when we tried to form this committee, and think about a very sort of holistic approach to find value. We're trying to make this community, trying to balance everything out, but still be a place people will be proud of, want to live, and obviously create value for people that have homes here. So that's our driver. And that gives us an opportunity to examine many, many things. But the first thing, not long after we were formed, the board asked us to take a look at the top 5 survey results. So you can see what we have there. If you can, thank you, Paul, scroll down. We were tasked with assessing each one of them. On September 10th, I did a presentation and went through them in detail. So if you'd like to go, I believe there's a recording, should be up on the website. Enjoy. It was quite thorough. But highlights. The ones that are checkmarked are the 3 that we recommended. Let me start with the 2 we didn't. Basically, the blockers were in the instance of the Mercado, the second access to the gate. There were some issues with respect to, number one, it's parking. There was trying to find out how can we get around some of the issues. I think secondly, there were some possibilities of a new hotel being built. And that would not only affect the possible putting in the gate, but they're asking for certain waivers and things like that, which we didn't want to do until we knew about the project, because it could be a waiver, basically called a no contest. And until we know the status of how this hotel be built, I think that we're going to put it on hold. With respect to the environmental trail and the exercise, I think 2 things which were prohibited. One, there was less than probably 5% chance of approval with the county. And secondly, tied in with that, there were a lot of upfront costs which would put in to even seek approval. So at this point in time, we're thinking that's not a good idea. Turning to the 3 that we did approve, number 1, beachfront and access. As many of you know, currently there is a relationship with Tarpon Cove, which allows us to use their shuttle, which allows use to go to the beach at Wigan State Park and come back. What we've done, I've spoken to a few people there, and we're in the process of creating sort of a reciprocity relationship in the off season. The off season being from May to October, which will allow us use of their facilities, including their restaurant, their pools, and in return, we'd offer the same thing. So I think it'd be great. I think it'd also great for Courtside for them to have business as well, and a chance for our communities to really just enjoy each other's facilities, and we'll see how it goes. So that's going to be an inaugural season this upcoming May to October. So I think that'll be fun. With respect to the expansion modernization, I think that's what we've been really sort of focused on. And I think, as we were saying, and Keith is now sort of the chair of the subcommittee, we've been looking at that. I think that's going to be a project that will benefit everyone. Those of you who use the facilities for the gym, for use of social activities, I think it's going to be a great, great thing. And kudos to Paul and Joe and Brian for securing the required leases from the golf community, from Pelican Marsh Golf, which was key to allow us to expand beyond whatever square footage we initially had. So I think that was key. Looking at the indoor dining now, and at the moment, we all know that Courtside is what it is. We were looking at potentially doing some broader, more sort of like expansion, looking at potentially putting sort of walls in which would create an air-conditioned space. However, I think the bridge plan, until we have a figure out how we can sort of have a more comprehensive plan with that, we've been doing kind of like a climate control sort of analysis. And Dino, thank you for your help. You've been instrumental, and Paul, we've been looking at some solutions. So we're trying to find a bridge solution which will allow to it not be overly hot and not overly cold. So you want to be either stuck by a heating lamp or where the case may be. So we're in the process of doing that. And also a few other sort of ongoing things, as the board has already discussed, there will be some landscaping changes and upgrades. So we've been discussing with Joe and trying to get that up and running. And looking at finally sort of what's been mentioned, a members capital campaign committee. So we're looking at ways to raise funds for specific projects. It's kind of in early stages, but we're thinking we have such a community of people that want to get involved, want to do stuff, want to give them an opportunity to do so. And one of our residents, Al Sterner, has been instrumental in helping me and my committee members with that. And last but not least, I just want to start thanking everyone, thanking sort of the board. You guys have been very supportive. Joe, thank you. Paul, thank you for always being there in meetings and getting everything organized. It's a lot of work, but there's a lot of enthusiasm. And I also thank my committee members. I see Jake is here. And it's a good group. We're dedicated and we really we have the best interest of the community in mind. So it's nice to have that. I think I'd be also remiss if I didn't thank some individuals as well, some residents. Dino, again, thank you for your help coming to some of the meetings, sharing your ideas. Thank you very much for that. Al Sterner, who has been helping and instrumental trying to think about how can we generate, ideas and people getting involved. And I'd also have to thank Paige Gianetti, who initially, when she was sort of leading the first iteration of this, back in 2019, 2020, we had some early meetings with her and she was kind enough to give some learnings and we were to talk about things. So I appreciate her help and support with that. So, and I think at the end of the day, I just want to leave with this is a great saying that the tide raises all boats in the harbor. And that's what we're thinking. That's sort of our approach. We try to do it so everyone can benefit. So we look forward to working with the board going forward and with all of you residents as well. Thank you very much.
Well, good evening, everyone. And I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Since this is our annual meeting, I just want to take a few minutes to give you a brief update on where we are as a community, what we've accomplished this year, and where we're heading. So where are we today? The short version is Pelican Marsh is in a really good place right now. And I don't say this lightly. We all know when things aren't working around here, we all hear about it. There's a lot of energy in the community. You see it at courtside. You see it at bingo, trivia, and other events. You see it at tennis, pickleball, and bocce. Participation has been outstanding. And that just doesn't happen. It's a combination of great staff, a lot of volunteer involvement, and residents who truly use and enjoy what we have here. The biggest win this year, the biggest accomplishment this year, without question, was getting the parking agreement done with the golf club. That took time. It took a lot of back and forth. And there were moments when it wasn't clear we were going to get there, but we did. Without additional parking, there was no path to expanding the community center, period. So this wasn't just a nice to have, that was the whole ball game. This agreement gives us that path. Now, to be clear, we are still in the planning stages. Nothing's been built, and it's not going to be built tomorrow. But for the first time, we can realistically look at an expansion that could include a larger fitness center, a dedicated spin room, a dedicated space for cards, activities, and social use. On the financial side, we made a really smart move renegotiating the Comcast agreement. That's over $430,000 per year in savings over the next 8 years, more than $3.4 million back to this community. That's real money, and we're treating it that way. We plan to set aside approximately 75% of those savings, subject to approval through each year's operating budget, to help fund future improvements like expansion and landscaping. What you're seeing around us, you're already starting to see some of that progress. The new shaded area by patio by Court 7, improved flow and viewing area around the courts, two-phase landscaping plan beginning this summer. And these projects aren't headline projects, but they're things that you'll notice every day. Our community and culture. One of the things I'm most pleased with this year is how the community has come together. We brought tennis and pickleball under one court sports committee, and it's working. We now have people playing both tennis and pickleball, as mentioned. which a couple of years ago might not have happened. At the same time, bocce continues to thrive with tremendous participation and great events. So going forward, the priorities are clear. Continue thoughtful planning for the community center expansion, execute on landscape improvements, maintain strong financial discipline, continue building the sense of community that makes this place special. I'll close with this. We've made real progress this year. Not everything is finished, not everything is easy, but we're moving in the right direction. We're not trying to do everything. We're trying to do the right things the right way, because this only works if people stay engaged, and clearly they are. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and introduce, well, everybody knows Paul, but Paul, I'm going to ask you and James Knafel, if you guys want to go ahead and step up and show us what's going on with the community expansion project proposal.
Get ready.
Good evening, everyone. Gentlemen of the board, thank you for having me. I am James Knafo. I am the president of James Knafo Architect Incorporated, located at 2500 Tamiami Trail North here in Naples, Florida. And this is actually the second project that I've had the pleasure of working with the Pelican Marsh Foundation on. The first one that we did is affectionately referred to as Courtside now. And it's very nice to see how well that project is now serving the community. Can you give me a slide?
Give you, hold on, I'm going to do a little introduction.
Are you looking for this?
Slide, tell me that.
Huh.
That's for your design.
Did I steal your thunder, Paul?
No, you didn't. You're good. Okay, so addressing our needs for today and the future. One of the top requests from our last member survey was the need to expand and modernize our current facilities. Current data also shows that the use of the community center is at the point now where we need more space to accommodate residents and our busy schedule of activities and events. The board formed a subcommittee to create a plan of how we could expand our community center to address these needs. Serving on the committee is Fiona Prentice, Peter Olin, Bob Gianetti, Keith Cogleton, Joe Mulcahy, and Brian McAdon, along with staff members Patrick Webb, who is our fitness director, and myself, Paul Madry, as the general manager. We also hired, who's already introduced himself, James Knafo, as our architect, who is here tonight. He helped us put together an expansion design that would achieve our needs, and when finished, looked like it was always part of the community center. So a big thank you to the committee for all their input in getting us to this point tonight. What can an expansion of the community center achieve? Well, we can increase our current available gym space by 1,600 square feet to enhance overall functionality. This will also allow us to add some new pieces, as well as spread out the equipment so the gym is not so congested, especially during the busier morning times. Create a new spin bike room that will enhance class experience and reduce wear on the equipment and our facilities. Currently, the bikes are kept on the back patio next to the bocce courts. This is not ideal, as the bikes being outside need more upkeep and maintenance, along with having to constantly move them to make room for other events that we have scheduled, or when it becomes too cold outside to hold classes. Visually, having to store the spin bikes on the back patio is not a great first impression. With the bikes moved into a dedicated room, we can now finally dress up this patio area with an outdoor seating arrangement that will be accommodating to members and their guests. A new group fitness studio will be built and equipped to handle all the variety of group classes we offer. And with the construction of a new group fitness studio, we can now convert the existing group fitness room into a new multi-purpose activities room dedicated for cards, mahjong, and other games. This room would also be designed with a country club feel, appointed with properly sized chairs and tables for games, along with plenty of cabinet space to store cards and other game supplies.
A new separate vestibule entry for our massage rooms we constructed to provide a waiting area that is quiet and welcoming for those receiving services. And lastly, we will relocate the playground to a gated area with new swings, slides, and other interactive equipment for children. Seating for adults would also be included, along with a water fountain in the area. This slide is the proposed design for the expansion. Shaded in yellow are areas of new construction that don't exist today. Shaded in blue is our current space that will be repurposed so it's more functional to meet our needs. And I'll invite James now to go over the specifics of this design. It's all yours.
So now you stole my thunder. Okay, so how did we accomplish everything that Paul just mentioned? To orient everybody, this is the edge of the existing community center running along the back and then along here. For orientation purposes, this is the golf course. These are the tennis courts. Over here is where the court site is, and then this is all the parking lot. So we've added roughly 3,000 square feet of additional space to the existing community center. As mentioned, composed within that 3,000 square feet is a 48 by 23 foot expanded fitness center, mostly with weight training equipment in that room. Then we created a new group fitness studio, same size with additional storage. And then here is the new spin room that has the capacity for 18 bicycles, air conditioned, all of the things that was mentioned by Paul about the maintenance for those bicycles. Additionally, the existing fitness center was expanded by removing the existing storage room. We've created new storage within the group the group exercise studio. And then this used to be the office for the fitness director. We've taken some space from the existing storage space in the previous group exercise room and managed to convert that into a new office overlooking the existing fitness center. Additionally, we will be removing the existing locker rooms and the massage room that sits between the two and replacing that massage room next to the existing massage room, now access through a private vestibule with 2 doors. You can have some chairs, little table outside, no longer entering and going through the locker rooms to get into the massage room. We kept the bathrooms essentially intact the way they were, created a new janitor's vestibule, and we captured a little bit more space now for the fitness center. The doors are being moved from this location to closer into the expanded fitness center. But all of this was done in an effort to try to maximize the existing space, and the addition itself now maximizes the permissible as well as possible space on this particular property. I should mention that when we first started this exercise, there was the idea of why don't we go up 2 floors? So the first time I put pencil to paper and I started to see how much space was going to be consumed by an elevator and fire stairs, the net positive really turned out to be keeping everything on 1 floor. It also saves us some money. The elevators are very, very expensive to build. And it just makes it much more easier for most of the residents to be able to use all of the facilities. And fortunately, we were able to get everything we were hoping to get all on 1 floor. I think I've kind of explained where we've put everything. Before I roll into the photorealistic virtual tour video that we prepared for you, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the building committee. Everybody worked very hard. We had a great exchange of ideas. This design went through a couple of iterations because of very, very good feedback, and I'm grateful for all the effort that everybody put in. With that said, I'd like to roll into the video. Outline where the new playground's going to go. Oh, thank you, Paul. So when we realized that we were going to be putting this addition where the existing playground is, The committee felt that it was important to kind of reconstitute that playground. So we've managed to find a nice space at the back of the property that you can access from one of the doors off of the expanded fitness area. You can also get to it from the bocce area back over here. And there is a path from the front of the property that will go around that can bring you there. We're going to plan to have a 4-foot high fence to enclose that area with a gate that you can access from outside. Questions so far?
So before we play the virtual video, the video is intended to give you a general idea how the expansion could look. Please note that some of the equipment displayed in the video is for presentation purposes only. The actual equipment selected and the placement throughout the new spaces of the expansion may be different from what is shown, but it'll give you a really good idea of what it could look like, the possibilities. So with that being said, oh, actually we have one slide before that.
Sure. So this is just a photorealistic rendering. Oops. Sorry. Thank you. The top slide is a view from the existing parking lot. This is essentially the extent of the addition facing onto the parking lot. This space here with the arched window to match the other arches in the current group fitness room is for the spin room, and then the other arched window is into the new group fitness room. This is kind of a view looking along the side. Paul, you used a very, very old slide here. This doesn't look anything like that. But nevertheless, these are high windows into the new group fitness room, as well as into the further back, the expanded fitness center. We kept the windows up high so that there was more room for mirrors, acoustical paneling to absorb sound, and to create a little bit of privacy within those two spaces. You've now just walked into the expanded fitness room. That's the new office on the left, and that's the entryway into the spin room to the right. Acoustical panels on the wall, TV. Now we're going into the new group fitness space. That's the existing fitness room looking out towards the golf course. Kind of standing at the doorway into the new fitness space. The new expanded fitness center. Lots of mirrors. Not sure what those beds do. And then there's a secondary exit out of the spin room in the corner over there. Yeah, that's the secondary exit out of the new Blue Fitness room. That's Paul's car right there in front. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Period. Is there gonna be any issues with permitting? Repeat the question.
The gentleman asked if there's going to be any issues with permitting. We're currently going through a process with the county to receive approval to do this project. It always revolves around parking. And as mentioned, securing the additional parking over from the golf club was crucial for us to be able to do this. We're working with a civil engineer. He's negotiating with the county to get us the 3,000 square feet plus to do this addition. Once it goes through that phase, which is essentially the planning phase, then it moves into the building department phase. And that part of this project will not be very difficult. It's a very straightforward building. You're not governed by any significant design guidelines. It doesn't face any major roads, so that should not be any problem. Yes, ma'am, in the back.
The car moves so well.
So I apologize for not having more information about the transformation of the existing group fitness room into a multi-purpose room. That is going to happen in our next phase of design development, where we'll be getting into a lot of new finishes and furniture. It really is a significant design reimagination for that room, as opposed to the fitness center, where we're basically just putting down athletic flooring and installing the equipment. That room's going to take a little bit more interior design. So you'll see that in renderings in the next design phase. There's no work plan for this room.
This room will be renovated sometime in the next 2 years. It'll probably correspond to the construction that we do with the gym as well. So we have that similar look and feel throughout the building.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thanks, James.
Where did I get you? Okay, so the cost of this expansion is estimated at $3 million. As Joe stated earlier, our new agreement with Comcast now saves us $430,000 per year to what we were previously paying. We took $300,000 of the savings to create a building fund in this year's budget. The plan is to continue the same funding over the next several budgets with these Comcast savings to pay for the expansion. If needed, we can also use surplus funds from resale fees and possibly increase our resale fee over time. We do not anticipate the need for a special assessment to pay for this expansion. So the approval process. So all capital projects over $250,000 require membership approval. So we will be sending out a voting proxy to members in early April, seeking their approval for this funding that's needed for this project. A special members meeting has been tentatively scheduled for May 7th to announce the voting results. And the timeline for expansion. So if membership approves the funding for this project, first, construction for off-site parking spaces across the street next to the CDD would begin late this year or early 2027. These parking spaces are first needed before construction of the expansion could begin. Construction of the expansion would start in early May of 2027 with a target completion by of December 2027. The plan is to keep the gym open in some fashion during the construction. Most likely, part of the existing gym would be made available while the construction of the new addition is being done. And then once the new additions are completed, we would move equipment in there, while then parts of the existing gym are closed for renovation. Are there any questions?
Yes, Rich.
Question on a financial basis. You hope to finish this all, at the end of 27, if I heard that correctly. And we're saving, if you will, allocate 300,000 a year. So maybe we'll have 900,000, so we go to 3 million. What's your plan?
We've met with banks, Rich, to secure a construction loan. So we'll have construction loan that we'll have to pay off over probably a 7-year period. Yes.
Good question. Any other questions?
So across the street, all we can fit is construction of 10 parking spaces, but that would be just enough to be included with the existing permitted parking to hopefully get the county to approve this expansion of the community center.
Not hopefully, that is a sufficient amount to approve the 3,000 square foot expansion.
And those 10 additional spaces will be employee only. So if you can imagine, our employees will be parking over there. And so that's going to free up space over here that people can come and go all day long.
But it counts toward the total permanent parking we have for the facility.
Right. Any other questions? Okay, thanks again, James. Appreciate it. Next up, we have the Paul, the announcement of voting results for rolling over the surplus fund into next year's calendar budget and the proposed amendments to section 7.4
Yes.
funding policy.
Okay, for the approval to roll over any surplus funds into next year's calendar budget, we had 959 saying yes, only 4 no, so that passes. And for the approval to amend section 7.4, which is the funding policy, we had 923 saying yes and only 31 no, so that passes also.
Okay. Thanks, Paul. And the next is the seating of new directors, and George.
Seating of new directors, who plan to fill the 2 open seats on the board. And we thank for their willingness to serve are Denise Cluth, Joe Mulcahy, and Terry O'Hara.
Those are the candidates, yeah.
Those are the candidates, right, the results, excuse me. 3 of them are not going to fill the 2 empty seats, only 2 of them, yeah. And so Monique just handed me the names of the 2 candidates who received the most votes. And the winners are, I feel like I'm on The Voice, Denise Cluth and Joseph Mulcahy. That's it.
Great. All right, so this is the time now for the community. Any questions or comments? To feel free to come up and ask those questions. Beth, can you come up? Beth, I'll put you up here.
Hello, my name is Beth DeFrank and I live in Claremont. I want to personally thank Nathaniel Monks for serving on the board, especially his commitment to the restaurant committee that we had and for taking a stand against the former operator. He was the only board member that stood up and said something needs to change, and he saved this community hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I just want to acknowledge.
My name's Andy Cammer. I'm in Grand Isle. I'm wondering with the expansion along Vanderbilt Beach, if there's any thought or talk about sound wall,
About what?
a sound wall.
Barrier.
Yeah.
Well, when the county was here a few months ago, outlining the projects of the expansions, I believe the lady with the counties mentioned that they didn't have any plans to put a additional sound barrier wall against, Grand Isle along Vanderbilt Beach Road. But I guess you can always, again, I think, I can get you, if you call me or email me, I'll get you the contact name with the county. You can call her directly and get more specifics on that information.
Paul, didn't she indicate that Grand Isle themselves could put up some kind of sound barrier?
She did say that if the community was willing to come together, they could spend the money on their own and put in the wall if they wanted to.
Paul, am I understanding correct that when they do the Vanderbilt Beach Road expansion, they're not actually going to build anything closer to us, though? They're going to have more lanes, but none closer to us. The border is still going to be.
Everything is going on the inner median. Nothing close to us. But obviously with more lanes, more traffic, more noise, so everybody's concerned about that.
Any other questions, resident questions? What else? You got residents' comments? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
No, we like it here. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for coming out. It's been a
Thank you
great
very much,
season. We
everyone.
appreciate all your support. Thank you so much.
Souvenir. That's fine.